Welcome to the Metal Bastards Hangout channel. Also, this episode is being sponsored and created originally by The Damage Incorporated.
Yes,
On my
indeed.
right-hand side, we got Mr. Demon Master Ryan Arnold here on this legacy episode to the godfathers of heavy metal. Who else can I be talking about? None other than Black motherfucking Sabbath. That's
Hell
right.
fucking yes.
So basically what we're going to do right now, we're going to talk about the Ozzy years from 70 to 78.
Absolutely, yes.
We're going to talk, we're going to do some history on how Sabbath began, We're going to talk about each album individually. So yeah, we're going to get the show right on the road right now.
Yes.
So Black Sabbath formed in 1968 in Birmingham, England, originally called Earth. Early on, they put out a couple of, singles under the Earth name, and eventually they became Black Sabbath.
Yes. And this essentially leads us to the first album, released September 1970. The self-titled debut album.
That's right. Black Sabbath, where it all began. So we got 5 tracks on here now. I'm trying to think which track it is. Now, on the European version, there's a track called Evil Woman, which is a cover track, which is not on the American version. It's not on the version I have.
Yeah, it's not on mine either.
Nope. So pretty much what you got is 5 tracks, a bunch of little interludes in between some of these tracks. Well, we'll begin with the first track, Black Sabbath.
Absolutely. That's basically in a nutshell, that's practically where heavy metal was created. Basically a lot of stuff, the doom metal side. Obviously the heavy metal, the very heavy distorted guitars and the evil sounding that it is. It is obviously a lot of people say that there are songs from bands like, say, the Beatles and other bands, say that those songs were kind of starting to get metal. But truly where metal legitimately started was the title track / band track of this album and band, practically.
I would agree, definitely. I mean, right away, you hear the thunder, then you hear the bells, and you hear this riff from straight out of hell come in, this doomy riff, simplistic riff. Down, down, down. You get where I'm going here.
Yeah.
Nothing was that heavy in 1970. Yeah, you had bands flirting around with what would become heavy metal, don't get me wrong, but this took it to a whole new level.
Exactly.
Very dark, very sinister sounding, very doom and gloom sounding, And, a lot of people sit there and say Ozzy Osbourne never wrote lyrics in Black Sabbath. Bullshit. He wrote Black Sabbath. He wrote the self-titled track. Yep, he wrote the lyrics for it. So, yeah.
Yeah. But outside of, say, that, and maybe a few other songs from that, basically it is what Iommi stated that they were at the time. Iommi had stated in an interview, he said that they were a heavy rock band. And there were some songs that sound like that. Like, I could think right off the bat that kind of sounds like it could be heavy rock. The Wizard, the track that came after Black Sabbath. Freaking pretty heavy rock. Wicked World was another one. Hell, even the other iconic one, NIB, is kind of that heavy rock. You've got moments of heaviness and stuff like that. Obviously the title track, but yeah, songs like The Wizard, Wasp, Wicked World, bit of finger slipping, basically heavy rock, some stoner. There's some stoner. I think in the 14-minute track had a bit of some stoner elements in there.
Oh yes, The Warning. The Warning was originally done by Ansley Dunbar's Retaliation. Yes, this is a cover track.
Yeah.
But man, you wouldn't know it from listening to it. Because Black Sabbath definitely added their magic to this cover. Made it lengthier. You get that guitar solo from Tony Iommi in the middle of it. You get a drum solo. You get all kinds of stuff going on this version of Warning, which I think is an excellent cover. One of my favorites on the album. Wicked World's a very dark song.
Yeah, but a very short song. Kind of somewhat a little bit similar to The Wizard a little bit. Obviously in terms of the length and kind of the style, but it is kind of a much more heavier, much more like a more darker version of The Wizard, basically. And I love The Wizard.
Oh, The Wizard's a great track, especially with that harmonica beginning there, which Ozzy that harmonica,
yeah, freaking awesome.
Yeah, just cool
and now just the drums doing those fills. It's just awesome, and the guitars just on The Wizard is fantastic. But yeah, overall, it ain't the best thing in the world. There'll be a bunch more better ones. But as a debut, it's a great debut, and a very important debut for rock and metal music as a whole, pretty much.
Right, definitely. What else can I say about this album? Okay, back to the track Wicked World. Well, Black Sabbath was definitely doing something different on this track at the time. Because, we're coming out of the hippie age, the flower power hippie age, where everything's happy, love, and all that stuff. Well, Black Sabbath's telling you how fucked up this world is on the track Wicked World. Very dark song, very heavy song. I think it's, let me see here. Okay. You get these little, interlude type of tracks, too, like Wasp, Behind the Wall to Sleep, basically what's built into NIB,
Yeah, basically, that's literally just a Geezer Butler bass solo, basically. Pun intended. Right.
Then a bit of Fingers, like a dark acoustic piece,
I think that might be the cover. I think A Bit of Finger is the cover or something like that. But I could be
no. Sleeping Village? It might be Sleeping. The Warning's definitely the cover. But yeah. Sleeping Village. Okay, it might be Sleeping Village. That's the acoustic song. It's like a short acoustic track.
Yeah,
it's quite dark. So there's definitely a darkness to this album.
Yeah, you are right. I just pulled it out. Yeah, you are right. Warning is the cover. Let me look at the other side. If there's they're all original stuff. Yeah, Warning is the cover, basically.
And just looking here. But yes, great debut album. Now, this album was only recorded in a day. And you can definitely tell it's definitely more of a jam album compared to the other Sabbath albums. And that creepy album cover of that lady.
Yeah, here's a better look at it.
Yep. Just absolutely iconic, which is weird because for the longest time, I actually thought that was Ozzy on the front of the album.
But it's not. Yeah, it's not. No. I clearly could tell it's not Ozzy because I know I can recognize Ozzy when I see it. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, it's just some woman.
Yeah.
I have no clue who the woman is, but yeah. So yes, the debut album, February 13th, 1970. Friday the 13th, 1970, this dropped.
Friday, February the 13th, yeah.
And the world changed forever. So moving on.
Yeah. Like you said, it didn't. I think I've done maybe some pubs in between, but they didn't waste long to getting back into the studio, and I don't know how long this one took. But obviously, this one would lead to maybe a few months later, September, their most iconic album, one of the most iconic albums in rock and metal history, Paranoid.
That's right,
basically, Paranoid. all I have to say. Even including the big hits, freaking that being War Pigs, Paranoid, Planet Caravan, Electric Funeral, Iron Man, all killer. The first album from there that is all killer, no filler. Everything after that, Hand of Doom, Rat Salad, all the Fairies Wear Boots, all of it, every song, fantastic.
which for me, this would have been the first Black Sabbath album I ever heard when I was only like 9 years old. So it definitely has monumental, memories for me. It definitely stands out, for being the first. Yeah, there's a couple tracks on here I'm kind of burned out with, but you know what? It's still a legendary album. Like Paranoid, I don't ever have to really hear again. War Pigs is still a badass tune. Originally called, I'm trying to think. Oh, what was this track originally called? Because, okay, I kind of forget.
We might have to, it's all right,
Okay. Well, we'll find out here in a minute.
Yeah. But yeah, War Pigs, I think it's all about the war and obviously all the politicians and all that stuff. But it's still, no matter what, regardless of the lyrics, it is an iconic song from the band. Fantastic musicianship from everybody on it. Yes, Paranoid might be one of those I'm like, yeah, I've heard that over and over, but it's such a short song. It goes by quickly before you even know it. It's iconic, yeah, but it's so short, It's
all right. Got it right here. Okay, yeah, that's it. Okay. If I'm pronouncing this right here, Walpurgis is what War Pigs was originally called. And notably, this album was originally supposed to be called War Pigs.
Yeah. But I guess their label at the time were like, yeah, no.
And the original lyrics in War Pigs, Walpurgis, were satanic. Yep, it's about Satan. And the record company's like, you better not do that, So they changed it over to War Pigs and wrote it about war,
They kept the musical style, but they just changed up the lyrics. And then, what would have happened? We wouldn't have had such an iconic song, in War Pigs, It's an iconic song. It's a legendary song from them.
So then you got Paranoid, obviously, which is the track that was written at the last minute. They needed one track for the album and just a short little fast track.
Yeah, but it's iconic too.
It's iconic, even though I'm burned out on it. Yeah, it's iconic still. I mean, you can't deny that.
Yeah.
So then you got Planet Caravan, which is a very spacey, psychedelic type of tune,
Yeah.
Then you got Iron Man. Man, anybody that got into Black Sabbath, I'm pretty sure, Iron Man was probably the very first track you ever heard.
Yeah, even if you were to show this, maybe even show it to some people who've watched the Marvel movies, they will instantly know that because, that's pretty much about Iron Man, the character Iron Man, pretty much. So they'll know it by the way. Normal people will know, even if you don't listen to rock or metal music, you'll instantly know. You'll know about Iron Man. Like, oh yeah, I know about Iron Man.
Oh, definitely. And if you're starting out on guitar too, probably one of the first things you're going to learn on guitar is Iron Man,
Yeah.
It's definitely an iconic track. It's got iconic riffs. I mean, there was a time I was sick of this song, but lately I'm not really sick of it no more. It's just a legendary track.
Yeah.
And notably, too, Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors, early on in their careers, used Iron Man for their theme music back in the NWA, AWA days.
Nice. That just comes to show you how iconic it is. Even a tag team in wrestling used it as their theme song, which is freaking amazing.
It's been used in several movies. I believe it was used in the movie Detroit Rock City, too.
Yeah, obviously, when it comes to it's been used in Iron Man and all that stuff because, it obviously because of the name Iron Man, it's used in that because everybody knows because it's all about the Marvel character. In an essence, pretty much, when you hear the lyrics and stuff like that, it really is about Tony Stark and all that stuff and what he would be and all that.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Oh, man, and other great tracks on here like Electric Funeral. We talk about a dark and evil sounding track. I mean, one of the first tracks I've ever... Electric Funeral was actually the first track I learned on guitar when I was first starting out on guitar when I was only 14.
Yeah, I saw John and Mike, or Mike might be joining hopefully shortly. Hopefully, I know Mike
Sorry, I'm not adding you into the chat for this one, John. No offense.
If you're watching this, John, yeah, this is a topic-oriented one. This is.
Yep.
Well, actually, obviously, we can add Mike because he was originally going to be in here, but we can add Mike in here.
All right, so we're going to add Mean Metal Mike. Welcome, Metal Connection, to the chat.
Yes. Well, we're in a little bit of a lull here. Yes, we got. Yes, Electric Funeral. It is. Yes. And I mentioned that this album is just all killer, no filler. The first one, obviously.
All right, so Mean Metal Mike. Be with you guys here in a minute.
Yes.
Oh, wait. All right, here we go.
Yeah, we're going to get Mike into here because he was originally scheduled to be in here. So we're glad he's going to be able to join us here shortly. Sorry, John. This is more of a topic-oriented one. We don't know if you know all about the history when it comes to Sabbath. So this is more. We don't want to risk this. Oh, no offense to you. We're trying to get this as a video and stuff like that. So
right.
Maybe we can get you in for when we do Ice Earth at some point. That would be definitely. We would get you in for Ice Earth at some point. We know you love Ice Earth, John. But this,
definitely. Most definitely.
But yeah, yes, continue.
All right, so then moving on to Hand of Doom. Holy crap, what a killer track. Personally, I think Hand of Doom's my favorite track on this album. It's just so dark, so heavy.
Yes.
And the subject matter is definitely very, very disturbing.
Yep.
You know, basically about somebody tripping out on drugs and basically on their last leg, you know. But yeah, Hand of Doom's a great track. Doomy ass rips. And man, Billboard does some great drumming on this freaking album too. I should mention that too. Billboard's bass, or not Billboard, Geezer Butler's bass playing's absolutely amazing too. All right, we got Mean Metal Mike here.
Yo, what's up? Just got done with the Metallum with
Oh, we don't have camera. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, just got done with the Metallum with Levi,
yes.
Ryan, Levi, John, and Ricky. Y'all need to check that video out.
Nice, yes. But obviously, like I said, this is a topic-oriented video, so unless we talk, just make sure you're muted. That's nothing negative about it. So,
all right. So,
well, if Ben can fix my audio, then that shouldn't be a problem. You know.
Yeah, but with this being a topic-oriented one, yeah, you know.
Well, I would also like to give my input. No offense, Dan. You know.
Fair enough. Yeah, like I said, we've done the whole format. If you want to talk, unmute yourself. Something like that. You know, that's always worked.
Yeah, I know. There's 2 Sabbath albums I would like to talk about. I think you guys know that.
Yeah, we just got. We're still on Paranoid.
Oh, Paranoid! I have a couple things I want to say about Paranoid real quick. That's no problem.
Okay. Well, I know Ben's still talking. Continue, Ben.
Oh yeah, I was just talking about Hand of Doom. Oh yeah, Rat Salad. Okay, Rat Salad, cool instrumental. Excellent drumming by Billboard there. Definitely Billboard showcasing what he could do on the drums. Obviously Billboard was a jazz-influenced drummer. You could definitely tell on Rat Salad when it comes to the drum soloing there, which leads into the final track on here, Fairies Wear Boots. Great way to end this sophomore album by Black Sabbath. Again, another track that has great riffs. The outro of this track's absolutely amazing with Tony Iommi's solo. Definitely a trippy, psychedelic type of song. Obviously about drugs, you know. But yeah, great track. Great way to end the debut album. And if Metal Mike has anything to say or Ryan has anything else to say about Paranoid, go right ahead.
Yeah. Metal Mike.
Paranoid, give me 1 second. I think I have the album.
Yeah, he's got to grab it.
I'm also going to request. There. I'm sorry, give me a sec.
Fair enough. Well, we wait.
Yeah.
Yes, obviously, John.
Fuck it. All right. Well, did you guys talk about the first album also?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. This album. Well, what can I say about the first album? The second album, technically went popular. Not really popular, but it's in the media with this album. Technically, like most played album. Yeah, you got War Pigs. Still a great song. I mean, come on. Yeah.
Yep.
Paranoid. I'm paranoid. I don't listen to like the title track as much as I used to. I think I'm kind of burnt out on the title track. Planet Caravan is so cool. Just chill, vibey, almost psychedelic from Planet Caravan. Iron Man just kicks ass. Iron Man, that last section where Bill Ward's just rolling around the kit, doing those little like palm rolls. That's cool shit. Electric Funeral. Electric Funeral is just dark, doomy, heavy. Hand of Doom. What can I say about Hand of Doom? Geezer Butler's bass playing on Hand of Doom. Rat Salad. Bill Ward, man. Rat Salad.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's a great album. It's not in my top 10, though, but it's a great album. And, the self-titled, I was going to talk about the self-titled. You have the title track Black Sabbath. The Wizard's great. Ozzy playing the harmonica, which is kind of cool. The Wasp, Behind the Wall of Sleep, basically NIB. Dude, Wicked World is such a fun, jazzy song. You kind of hear the band sort of blues jazz influence on that. And then, holy fuck, man, A Bit of Fingers, Sleeping Village is creepy. And then The Warning. Fuck, that song's great.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
I guess Master Reality's next.
Yes, but there is some things. I'm sure there's some things that happened in between Paranoid and Master of Reality. So, Ben.
Okay, between Paranoid and Master of Reality, well, I can't really think of much like in between them albums that happened, but Black Sabbath was blown up in popularity once Paranoid hit. So, Sabbath was starting to become a name well known after Paranoid came out. They went out and toured for Paranoid, and we're back in the studio to make this Master of Reality, album number 3, even darker and heavier than Paranoid.
And may I even say, yes, and may I say, a little bit better than Paranoid. I say it's better, a little bit better than, say, Paranoid.
I would agree. I think it's better than Paranoid. And, like I said, it's darker, it's heavier, and Tony Iommi tuned his guitar down to C on this album. Dropped C tuning to give it an extra heavy sound. So, yeah. Now, to me, the production seems a bit dirtier, too, on this album compared to Paranoid. I mean, right away, man, it just begins iconic with Sweet Leaf. Holy cow. Classic Tony Iommi cough from, pumping on a big fat joint, you know. So yeah, Sweetly, great riff, iconic riff, great way to begin the album. Then we get into track 2 here, After Forever. Very underrated track. I love this track, dude. It's probably one of my favorite Black Sabbath tunes. I mean, it's heavy, it's fairly fast too in part. Yeah. Embryo, short little acoustic piece, that builds into the almighty Children of the fucking Grave.
Yes.
Freaking rips, man.
Dun, dun. Yeah, just the gallopy. Yeah. Just that gallopy. That's basically where Iron Maiden, that's basically the Iron Maiden riff from them, and they created the Iron Maiden gallopy riff, and it's just, love it.
Right on, man. Yeah, man. Easily the heaviest thing to come out in 1971, man. Just heavy for the time. Dark.
Yes.
Okay, so I got a version where the track listing's a little different. Because I know... Yeah, I got the... What version is this? Okay. Oh, this is the... I apologize here.
It's all right.
Oh. Vertigo, my bad. It's the Vertigo version. And so, okay. Then we get into Orchid. Another really awesome, short little Tony Iommi instrumental. A beautiful piece of music in my eyes. I think it's a really brilliant piece of music by Tony Iommi that builds into the ultimate heavy Lord of this world. Another crushing heavy track, man. I'll tell you what. Another one of my favorite Sabbath tracks too. It's been covered by Corrosion of Conformity before. Children of the Grave has been covered by several bands throughout the years. White Zombie being one of the main bands to cover Children of the Grave. And okay, yeah. But anyways, you can definitely tell when it comes to this album, the bands it's influenced, going into the future when it comes to stoner doom metal or even thrash metal to an extent,
Yeah, even just, even the Nawabum scene, the Children of the Grave is basically the gallopy riff that Iron Maiden would eventually incorporate into their style, basically.
Yep.
So if it wasn't for Sabbath, Iron Maiden would not have thought of the gallopy riff that they're known for.
That's very true, and the chunky, heavy guitar riffs, definitely. So yeah, now I know on other versions Solitude would be next, but on my version Into the Void is next. Oh man, this is another crushing heavy tune.
Yes.
Oh man. There's a part in there too that gets almost speed metal like too. It gets pretty fast in the middle, which is really cool. Then we get into Solitude. Pretty much to me, Planet Caravan Part 2. Very psychedelic. I actually like it better than Planet Caravan.
I like Ozzy's vocals on it, and I didn't think that was Ozzy singing that style. He can't do that style anymore, but just he has that kind of that style at that time that is just like, oh my god, that kind of ambient style vocals, and I absolutely loved that from that. I love that in Planet Caravan. I love that when he was doing it on the 14-minute track on Self-Titled, and obviously in this, these are just beautiful. His vocals are these were the best his vocals had ever sounded. Like Barno, even on his solo stuff, like those songs are easily the best thing he's ever sounded.
Yeah, that's a good point you mentioned there, because there was rumors that Bill Ward did the vocals on Solitude. It's not Bill Ward, it's Ozzy. It is 100% Ozzy Osbourne. And hey, man, Ozzy Osbourne could sing, man, back in the day.
Yeah, and those were the examples of he can sing like his traditional style, but then he can sing a style like this. And he doesn't do that anymore. Even later in his solo stuff, he doesn't sing like that anymore. And that saddens me that he can't do that. But I love that style of vocals he did for that.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing, I think. And he even did the vocals on Planet Caravan, too, on the last album. It's not Billboard like people claim it is. It's not Billboard. It's Ozzy. So, yeah, Ozzy, early on, man, I think the guy early on had more of a vocal range, on those early Sabbath albums compared to, what would come after albums like Sabotage going into his solo career. But yeah. Anybody else got anything to say about Master of Reality? Want to talk about any tracks?
2 tracks. I want to talk about Sweet Leaf, man.
Hell yeah.
Just the coughing in the beginning is kind of funny. Then you just kick in, and then the song just kicks right on in.
Tony Iommi puffing on that big fat doobie, man.
And then after Forever, man, just a fun song, Song just goes right through, and it's just quick, good stuff.
I agree, very underrated.
Yeah, Mike, what do you think of and I'll mention this to you, Mike. What do you think of Children of the Grave?
Oh, hell yeah, man. Bill Ward on Children of the Grave with the galloping drum beat.
Yeah, obviously that's where I said that's where basically Iron Maiden would get their gallopy riff from. It's from basically that song.
Yeah. Actually, Iron Maiden also said they got their galloping beat from Uriah Heep also, besides Black Sabbath. Because
that
Black
might be a band we'll talk about at some point.
I talked to Ben about. I think I sent Ben a text about that already, about possibly doing Uriah Heep. So,
yeah, that's definitely in the works in the future.
Yes.
Moving on, if nobody else has anything else to say about Master of Reality.
Nope.
I was going to talk about Volume 4.
Volume 4, yes.
Yeah.
A cocaine album, pretty much. Yeah, man. Go ahead, Mikey.
Well, Volume 4. Definitely an album where the band just was in the studio, and there's some stories. One of the stories for the album, well, the album was not originally going to be called Volume 4. It was originally going to be called Snowblind.
Yep, that's true.
But the record label said, no, Volume 4 sounds cooler, man. Yeah.
So technically, in all technicality, Snowblind is the title track.
Yeah. But, what happened to Ben? We'll wait for Ben.
Yeah, continue. Oh, there he is.
There he is. Ben? You good, Ben?
My bad, I hit the wrong button. Go ahead.
But yeah, Volume 4. I was going to say, the story about, the band was just heavy. At first, the band was doing marijuana, not much other drugs. But this is where I think Tony Iommi said one of the people in the record label introduced Geezer Butler to cocaine. And apparently, Geezer brought in just shitloads of cocaine. I think Geezer Butler said a few stories they had cocaine bags hidden in lampshades, bed covers. I think they said they had a big ass green bowl that they would just sniff cocaine out of to record this. I believe Bill Ward said this was the toughest album for him to do drumming wise.
Yeah, he said that about Cornucopia.
He said that about Cornucopia, Wheels of Confusion, and Supernaut. And this album just kicks ass. I can't say anything bad about this album.
Yes.
Ben, do you want to take it over for Volume 4?
Oh, me or Ryan?
I'll go with this one.
Go ahead.
I say this is all killer, no filler. Number 3. I wasn't like this originally when I did the retrospective for this, but thank God I listened to this for a second time because my God, this album was just. It was just amazing. I loved listening to everything from this. It was just it was just great song after great song after great song. Changes is a great, great ballady stuff, about Geezer and his, at the time, wife breaking, divorce and all that stuff, which divorce can be pretty nasty. I know my mom and my dad are no longer together. They divorced when I was a kid. Knowing how that is, I can kind of relate to this because, seeing my parents divorce, it's a pretty ugly thing. And, it's just so, it was just, but the song itself is a beautiful song. Obviously, Ozzy and his daughter Kelly would redo this later on, but this original one, just listening to this, fantastic. And then getting into stuff like, I think, Supernaut, and then we'll the track after that, and then go to Cornucopia, and it's just back to the heaviness. Loved it. Just everything about that album is freaking fantastic.
Hell yeah. Under the Sun, Same Fight as Dance.
Oh yeah.
Wheels of Confusion. And the middle section of that song gets really fucking fast on Wheels of Confusion.
Yes. That riff part, yeah.
Snowblind has a fast section in it too.
Yeah.
Said?
Oh man, yeah. What more could be said about Volume 4, dude? I'll tell you what, man. If we ever do a re-ranking down the road of Black Sabbath, I mean, it could happen. Who knows? Because
this is my number 1 so far. Out of all of this, because this was originally number 4. Because granted, Volume 4, number 4. But this has now shot up to number 1 after me listening to this, re-listening to this, and I freaking love this album.
Right, because I'll tell you what, man, this album to me is a masterpiece. It could easily be my number 1 because, like, every time I play this album, like, I just get more and more impressed with it, Wheels of Confusion, holy cow, what a great track. Different way to begin a Black Sabbath album too. It's a bit more melodic and a bit more bluesy, but it does get heavier. Tomorrow's Dream, another good mid-pace track. Changes, holy cow, man! You talk about an emotional track, man. A lot of people hate it. When I was younger, I didn't like it either till I sat down and actually really listened to it and listened to the lyrics. And holy cow, it's definitely a touching song indeed. So Changes, to me is a great track. FX is just a short little whatever.
Then it builds into Supernaut pretty much after that.
Oh my God, Supernaut. Holy cow. You talk about a beast of a track. Dude, I love this track. It's one of my all-time favorite Sabbath tunes. And it keeps getting better and better, man.
Exactly.
Snowblind.
Yes.
Now, originally, you can hear it on the live version of. Now you can hear it on the live version of "Speak of the Devil," which Ozzy released solo, which is a bunch of old Black Sabbath songs re-recorded around 1982. It's a live album.
Mm-hmm.
After Randy Rhoads' passing, they had Brad Gillis come in and play on "Speak of the Devil" and do some shows. They just did a bunch of old Black Sabbath songs. Anyways, back to what I was trying to say here. Originally, after one of the bridges, Ozzy wanted to say cocaine in the track, and the record company's like, no, you better not do it or whatever. So, but you can hear it when it's played live.
Yeah.
But yeah, Snowblind's an amazing track. Oh, Cornucopia, holy fucking heaviness.
Yes, the song that Bill Ward had trouble with doing drums on at that point.
That's right. Bill Ward thought he was going to get fired for this track. And
yeah, he did say that. It was...
and he nailed it, man. He fucking nailed it. God damn though, man, the song is so fucking awesome. So freaking heavy.
Love it.
It's gonna be one of my favorite Sabbath riffs too. Just love that riff.
Yeah.
Laguna Sunrise, a pretty beautiful instrumental. Which at the time too, when they were recording Volume 4, they located to California to record it. So that definitely probably had a lot to do with Laguna Sunrise being written. Same Fight as Dance, just a short little rocking tune, and we ended with another fucking heavy barn burner, Under the Sun. Holy crap, is this a damn good track?
Yeah,
get a little bit of thrashiness in this track too, like proto thrash a little bit into this track. But it's fucking gloomy, it's heavy, it's dark. Great way to end. It's such a great legendary album.
Hot take, Ben. Do you think Under the Sun is the best track on the whole album? Under the Sun.
Ooh.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't argue that at all. It's such a killer track.
Yeah, that's difficult to say between that, Supernaut, Snowblind, Cornucopia, Changes. It's difficult. I should also mention St. Vitus Dance. That's where the band St. Vitus got their name from. They got their name from the track. That's a little known fact.
That's very true. Well,
yeah.
Anybody else have anything to say about Volume 4?
Other than the fact I could agree with you, it is a freaking masterpiece in terms of all the 80 of the Ozzy era, definitely. But I will say when we get to part 2, there are definitely better albums than it, without a doubt. But for now, when it comes to the Ozzy stuff, this is easily the best one in the classic Ozzy era, without a doubt.
I agree. And you will find out what we think are better albums in part 2. Stay tuned.
Yes, absolutely, yes. Maybe a while, or maybe not too long, but who knows. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, anyway, let's get into the next one. But there's got to be some stuff that happened in between Volume 4 and basically the 5th album, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. So,
Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Well, around this time, like I said, they were really into the cocaine. They actually relocated back to England to record Sabbath Bloody Sabbath just because in California they were getting way too into the drugs. And actually going into this album, Tony Iommi had no riffs prepared for this album, nothing.
Wow.
I guess you could say writer's block, maybe it's from too much cocaine, who knows. But yeah, so this album didn't come out till December 1st of 1973, so it did take a little longer for this to come out compared to Volume 4.
Yeah.
And this is definitely a bit more of an experimental album compared to, the first 3 albums, or first 4 albums, I should say.
Yeah.
I mean, you get elements of progressive rock on here. I think this is probably Sabbath's progressive metal album in a lot of ways. And plus, you get a guest appearance by Rick Wakeman on here from Yes and King Crimson. And it's really weird because Sabbath Bloody Sabbath was actually the last track written for this album, which is kind of weird. Probably the heaviest track on here, and the opening track, just a killer track, man. A National Acrobat. Now this is where it gets a little bit weird and kind of psychedelic, but it's still a pretty good track. Fluff, Fluff's another acoustic instrumental. Sabracadabra, which was covered by Metallica on Garage Inc. Really killer track. Okay, it's this track I'm thinking of where it gets really psychedelic and weird in the beginning or in the middle of it. And I believe this is the track that Rick Wakeman plays on. Killing Yourself to Live, another pretty cool track.
Cool and great.
Who Are You is a very weird track written by Ozzy.
Yeah.
Apparently, the synthesizers were played by Ozzy too on that track, which is kind of weird. Definitely a drug-induced song, you can tell.
Yeah.
Looking for Today's a pretty decent track.
Like it. I like it.
Honestly, probably one of the more forgettable tracks, to be honest, on Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Still a decent track, though, but the album ends pretty orchestrated, like, with Spiral Architect. I mean, you get orchestrations in this track, which apparently in the studio, Ozzy actually hummed out those orchestration parts. For you people out there that say Ozzy has no talent, we know what we think you use. But yeah, man, I think it's a great way to end this album. Yeah, this is a different album indeed compared to the first four. More progressive, definitely more psychedelic, not quite as heavy, you know.
All right, Mike.
I just gotta say one thing about the album. Tony Iommi in 2012 was talking about Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. He said while they were in England finishing up the album, Led Zeppelin stopped by. It was just Bonham and John Paul Jones, and they came in and stopped by, and apparently they did a jam session together. And apparently Tony Iommi has tapes of that jam session. He doesn't know where they are, but he wants to find those tapes and possibly release it.
Nice.
And
cool.
Basically John Bonham on drums on Bill Woods' drum kit. Double kick drum kit. So
that's awesome.
Oh yeah, man. Totally.
Tony Iommi also said in that same interview that Sabbath Bloody Sabbath almost has a Uriah Heep vibe to it. Almost. Can you hear that?
I can kind of hear that a little bit. It is more progressive, like I said.
Yeah. Yeah, if I had to say about it, yeah, like I said, you mentioned there are a few stinkers. For me, the stinkers are Sabra Cadabra and Who Are You? I never really cared about that. But I do want to mention, you mentioned about A National Acrobat. I was listening to that song, and I'm like, why does this riff sound so familiar? And then it hit me. Oh my freaking God. That's the, like what is that one? The last verse riff of Fade to Black from Metallica. It sounded so much like Fade to Black that, what is it? Da-dun, 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 you know, that riff. It sounded so much like it. I was listening like, that sounds like that's like Fade to Black. Holy fucking shit. Like, I caught my ear like that. Holy fucking shit.
I'm going to have to go back and listen to that again. I never actually realized that. Huh.
Yeah, it just caught me. I'm like, that sounds like, oh, like I was like, it just caught my ear, and I'm like, oh my God, that's Fade to Black from Metallica. Like, holy crap. A National Acrobat was Fade to Black before Fade to Black from Metallica ever came to be. Which literally blew my mind. But yeah, other than that, I think the album is. Yeah, other than that, I think this album is. It's nothing like the previous four, but it's not too bad. I do like some songs, but like I said, I do not care for Who Are You and Sabra Cadabra. They were just. I loved Looking for Today. I loved Spiral Architect. I loved every other song, but those two I just did not care for, in my opinion.
I will say, man, I think this is their best album cover, though. That is just so fucking awesome.
Yeah, I love that.
That's probably my favorite artwork, too, like when it comes to the Sabbath covers.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else got anything else to say about Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath?
Don't think so.
All right. Then we're moving on to the 1975 album, where definitely tension within the band starts to happen.
Yeah.
And at this time, they're going through problems with their record label. You know, they're getting sued left and right. obviously we're talking about Sabotage. Probably the angriest Black Sabbath album. Well, to begin the album, oh man, Hole in the Sky, man. Another great way to begin this freaking album. Notably, too, Ozzy sounds angry on this album. He's singing much higher and much more angry on this album. This is, well, besides like Volume 4, this is probably Ozzy's best vocal performance. After this album, though, he would never sing that way again. But Hole in the Sky, a great track. I mean, Pantera has covered it. Just a really cool track to begin this album. Okay. Don't Start Too Late. It's just a short little instrumental. Nothing to really say about it. Which builds into probably
Symptom of the Universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, tactically. Yeah. Symptom of the Universe.
Crunchy, heavy, pretty fast. And Billboard's drumming's absolutely insane on this track.
Yeah, that just sounds so thrashy. Yeah. Like, yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, it's absolutely incredible. I mean, it's easily one of my favorite Sabbath tunes too. And you can definitely tell where thrash metal came from.
Yeah.
Now, I think the ending of this track's a little bizarre with the. It's just weird after such a heavy song, it ends like some happy hippie type of song. It's weird. But then we go into a huge epic on here. Easily my favorite Black Sabbath song. I'm talking about Megalomania. Holy cow, is this track awesome. It starts out very dark and melodic, then it gets pretty heavy.
It gets also fast.
Yeah, it gets fast, and man, Ozzy just sounds pissed on this track. And obviously, there's a little message to the record company in this track. Suck me!
Yeah,
man. Really cool track. It's got a cool rip to that. Really cool stuff.
Yep.
Okay, so then we get into Superstar.
Ben, you forgot
or no, on this song here. The Thrill. Excuse me, the Thrill.
He said something.
Go ahead.
Mike said something.
Oh, I just said you missed Thrill It All. That's all I said.
Yeah. I did. I skipped over it. Thrill It All, another pretty decent Sabbath tune, you know. Another pretty heavy track, too.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really have much to say about that one.
Yeah.
So then we go into Superstar. I think this
sounds almost Russian. You know, just like, the Superstar.
Yeah, it's quite different. It's pretty cool. I mean,
yeah.
It's got a cool Tony Iommi rip behind it with orchestras being played behind it. It's really cool. I know a lot of people don't like it. I absolutely enjoy it. Okay. Maybe this song might not be my number one favorite Black Sabbath album the more I think about it. Am I going insane radio? Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of this track.
That's the stinker track of the album.
Yeah. It's just kind of it's not, I don't know. It's just weird. But it ends great. The writ is freaking awesome. Man.
Yeah.
Ozzy's voice sounds great on this track. He's singing like really high on this track too. But yeah, man. Still a damn good album. And I'm not quite sure if this is my number one no more. Let's put it that way. It's still a damn good album.
Yeah. Mike, any more you want to say?
I got nothing to say. I'm going to get going, though, guys. So I just wanted to...
All right, thank you for joining.
All right, man. Thanks for joining.
Yep. So now, well, basically for me, I had this as just, I obviously think this is a little bit better than Black Sabbath. Both of them are the same. I just think this is a little bit better. This one's probably
I agree.
not. It's not. Again, it's another one that's not as great as the first four, but it does have its moments here on here. System of the Universe, like you said, kind of technically the first thrash metal style song and stuff like that. Megalomania. I just think it's got a little bit less filler than Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, basically.
I agree. I mean, I don't know. One day I'll do a re-ranking of the Sabbath albums. Just not yet.
Yeah, but this was just to get it out of the way. But yeah, this was probably my number. If I did a ranking, this would be my number 5. It's top 5 easily. In terms of the Ozzy stuff, obviously. Not top half, it's the top of the bottom half, pretty much. This is a pretty good album. I liked it.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
So moving on, now we get into an album that's not liked by a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, you can definitely see the cracks starting to begin. I would say as far back as Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, to be honest.
Yeah, that's where it began. And this is where they're truly showing. We're talking about technical ecstasy, which I will say for me, not the best. Not as a Black Sabbath album, no. But I enjoyed this. It was a good rock album. I actually enjoyed some of the stuff on there. It was a really, really good rock album. I actually enjoyed it.
I think the production's really good on this album. I mean, up to that point, it's probably the best production Sabbath had. Which is kind of weird for an album. Which is kind of weird for an album that's kind of disjointed and there's tension within the band. Like Ozzy was about ready to leave at this time. And he was already starting to put together an early version of Blizzard of Oz around this time. But he ended up sticking with Sabbath still, and
we'll get to that shortly.
So Backstreet Kids opens the album.
Good song, great song.
Track.
This one's an awesome track. Awesome.
It's got a cool galloping rip that's kind of reminiscent of a track like Barracuda, which would come out the following year by heart.
Yep.
77. But yeah, Backstreet Kids, I think it's a cool beginner to the album. Pretty heavy still.
Yeah.
You Won't Change Me. Okay. This track I really enjoy. Probably my favorite off the album. It starts off with a doomy Tony Iommi riff, probably the only doomy riff you'll hear on this freaking album. Then it gets really like psychedelic sounding and weird, but it's still a pretty cool track. And Tony Iommi plays a great guitar solo on here. Then we get into a track sung by Bill Ward, It's All Right, which has more of a Beatles influence.
Yeah, this is his first one. Yeah, this is his first song he ever sang. Pretty much.
Right. And yeah, man, I mean, it could easily be a Beatles song. What do I think of the track? I actually think it's an alright track. I don't mind it. Then we end side 1 with Gypsy. Decent track. I like Gypsy. It's alright. Okay, so then we turned it over to All Moving Parts, Stand Still on side 2. I like the music in this track, but vocally, man, you can tell Ozzy is not into it. He just don't sound inspired at all on this track. Rock and Roll Doctor, I absolutely hate this song.
This is where
She's Gone, it's kind of bland. It would be done better on Blizzard of Oz with Revelation, Mother Earth. But you can kind of hear where the influence came from. At least to me, I kind of hear it. And Dirty Women, the best track on the second half of this album, easily. Great track. And don't really have much else to say about Technical Ecstasy.
Yeah. Yeah, other than the fact it's a really good rock album, not the best Black Sabbath album. Well, I would say it's a really good, pretty good rock album. I can't say the same about the next one. So let's get this turd out of the way.
Here we go.
Yeah, but basically there was some things that did happen. I will mention it. Ozzy did briefly leave. They get a guy, what is it, Dave Phillips or something like that in there, or something
Dave
like
Walker.
that. Yeah, him. But then Ozzy came back. They had already done some stuff with Dave, but Ozzy came back and he didn't want to sing any of that, so they redid everything, and we get Never Say Die.
Makes me want to die after listening to it.
Aside from maybe a couple of tracks, I'll say the title track and the song that Bill Ward did on here, and maybe I know there was an instrumental on this. The album is a complete bore fest. It's not dog shit garbage, but this is a boring album. It's boring, and I will completely say this: I have listened to all the way, even when we get to part 2. I have listened to all the way to The Humanizer, and so far, Never Say Die is by far, without a shadow of a doubt, the worst Black Sabbath album ever. Dead last. And by God, I'm going to dread when I have to listen to Forbidden. Or maybe I might like it. If I end up liking it, oh God, hell's going to freeze over if I like that album.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, they got a guy named Dave Walker in the band for a brief moment because Ozzy left. And there's a recording out there on some TV show, I'm not sure exactly where at, with Dave Walker performing the track Junior's Eyes.
Wow.
Thank God Ozzy did at least come back, because this album would have been worse if Dave Walker would have been the vocalist on here. Dave Walker did not fit Black Sabbath. Still, though. All right. The album
that would have.
Right.
Yeah,
good.
Never Say Die. The title track, freaking great. It's probably one of the only shining moments on the album, pretty much.
Yeah, the opening track's good. I do like Never Say Die. Johnny Blade, a bizarre track. I don't know what to think of it. It's just weird.
Skip.
So then we get into Junior's Eye. Not a bad track. It's all right.
Yeah, I can only imagine what it would have sounded like we had Dave. That would have been.
It's worse. It's worse. So then we get A Hard Road. The only track Black Sabbath ever did where all 4 members of the band do vocals. It's an all right track. It's okay. It's still kind of average, but it's all right.
Yeah.
So then we turned it over to Shockwaves. Again, just a weird song.
Would be another.
Think of it. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Track 6, though, I actually enjoy. Yes, it's different and weird too, but I like Air Dance. It's very progressive sounding. It's very jazzy sounding. Very different. But I enjoy it.
That might have been the other one I might have liked on there.
Over to You. Honestly, I don't. It's kind of forgettable. It doesn't stand out at all to me. Oh, good Lord. Oh, God. Then it gets worse. Then we get into. Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
What the hell is this? Is this the Tonight Show with Jimmy Kimmel or some bullshit? That's what it sounds like. That's what this track sounds like. It was written for like a night show, or a Tonight Show type of show, or Late Night with David Letterman or some shit. What the fuck? How about
Yep. Oh, yeah. Just no.
All right, Swinging the Chains with Bill Ward on vocals. I actually kind of enjoyed it. It's not bad. It's probably one of the better tracks on here. So there's like maybe 3 tracks. Okay, maybe 3 to 4 tracks on here.
But the rest of it is just boring. Skip. God, fuck this damn album.
It's a weird album. It's a very unfocused album. It's all over the place. There's no direction on here. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll briefly mention that this album was just so bad that Tony Iommi fired Ozzy, and we'll get into more detail about that. But Ozzy at this point fired from Black Sabbath. They got rid of him, and we'll save the rest of the full version of that for part 2 of the Black Sabbath. So yeah, basically this has been, part 1 of Black Sabbath Legacy.
Yep, this is part 1 coming to you from the Metal Bastards, coming from you from Damage Incorporated.
Yes, which this will be part 2. Yes, this will be on our channel hopefully shortly. Probably might be available hopefully once this is all done. Watch it on that channel. Watch the heck out of it. So that way we can get some hype for part 2, where it gets really good in the beginning. But then we'll also have, hopefully, probably the worst one. But until then, Never Say Die is the worst Black Sabbath album. And we'll end it on that. All right. So, yes.
So we got that out of the way.
Yes.
So, yes, this is part 1. Part 2 will eventually be coming. We're not sure exactly when it'll come. Hey, man, it might be sooner than you think.
Yeah, hopefully. Provided I get my ass a hurrying and listen to all those other stuff. So hopefully it'll be soon. Fingers crossed on that, though.
But yes. Anyways, this was fun to do. Stay tuned for more, and make sure you subscribe to the Damage Incorporated channel, me, Metal Mike. Subscribe to Metal Bents Chronicles, my main channel, and subscribe to this channel where part 2 will air.
Yeah,
that's right. The Metal Bastards Hangout podcast channel. And that's it for part 1. And guess what? Thank God Never Say Die never has to be talked about again. All right, keep it metal.
But we do have to. Yes, but we do have to worry about part 2, where we'll certainly have to talk about another piece of shit. But until then, we will see y'all later. And as always, keep things metal.
Damn right.